Hey everyone, Arknova here.
And Focus Heal.
Getting back to some more Let's Play the Killing Game. How'd the killer get to show when the cage was locked? Takumi, did you lock your door last night? Yes, I did, so nobody could have stolen the key from me while I was sleeping. And I know I'm repeating myself, but that key is unique. It cannot be copied. It can't be copied. But what if...
There was already two of them.
That too, but... Well... So... She says there's only one in existence.
Right.
It cannot be copied. But... Who's to say it couldn't be duplicated?
Yeah,
We've seen the Gift-O-Matic make some crazy shit.
that's true too.
So...
It could be.
Like, I might just be spitballing here, conjecture and all, but what if somebody made a duplicate? Like, what if somebody completely made the key from scratch with the Gift-O-Matic?
Yeah, that could be.
Because she says the key is unique, but that looks awfully like the other key to the other lock. Well, that narrows down the list of possible suspects to just Takumi, right? Don't you ever get tired of mindlessly repeating the same thing? Aren't we overlooking the other possibility that he stabbed himself like before? This time in a way that would be impossible for us to revive him. I can't think of any other reason why he'd wind up dead in a locked cage in the middle of the night. Well then, who supplied him with the knife? It had to be X, right? If it was X, they would have passed him some gamma fuel in a syringe. Not this time. Yeah, ain't no one strong enough to keep mutilating yourself like that without being drugged the hell out of their mind. He could have used one of the bottles that had been stolen previously. We moved Choma's remains to the morgue. Interesting.
So.
There's exactly enough tables as there are people.
Oh.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Wait.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Is Shoma dead because we didn't pin it right the first time when we were able to finally pin it on somebody?
No, we pinned it on him properly.
Oh. Yeah, that's true.
But X did say if you tell people about me, you die.
Yeah, that's true.
What? He said he would blow him up if he did that. There'd be
so-
no reason to go stab him if what he said is true. He could remotely detonate the bomb in his body.
Right. So he didn't do it that way.
We'll see.
It wasn't bluff.
Or it was a lie on Shoma's part.
Maybe.
At Ima's request, we made sure that Kako and Shoma's bodies were not placed next to each other. Fair enough. Ima walked to Shoma's dead body and stared at it for a long time. Then he said, You got what you deserved. Fair enough.
I wouldn't actually have blamed it if it was actually Ima that did it that time. In the other timeline, he shanked someone before.
After that, we investigated the courtyard together. Despite combing over every inch of the area, we found no trace of a knife or syringe. Well, what we could do... we could maybe do it. So this is the get it right. But do we want to go see? I don't know if we should do it yet.
Nah, probably not.
Yeah, we'll keep going. We'll keep going on this line for now.
Yeah.
We'll keep going on this line for now. Because if I just keep going back and just going to every decision and checking both of them, we'll never get anywhere with anything. It'll all just be a cluster fluctor.
Yep. Nah, we'll finish this up.
Guys, wake up! Something.
You know, my dumbass could have just loaded my save.
Yeah,
That
that
could
was-
have made it a fucking dialogue box. Are we back in the courtyard with everybody? Did I just fuck it up? Probably. Put together, despite coming over every inch of the air, found no trace of a knife or syringe. The only thing we found was a balloon. It was lying on the floor near Shoma's cage. Ain't no way he's man enough to shove shit up his ass. Although I couldn't immediately figure out if it was related to the case, I decided to stuff it in my pocket just in case. I would have smelled it first if it was an ass balloon. I ain't gonna put no ass balloon in my pocket, dude. What? The sphincter pocket.
Sure.
Soon the last rays of sunlight disappeared into the horizon and the darkness of night took over. It was already way past dinner time. Seeing that none of us had the appetite after all that, we skipped the cafeteria and gathered in the rec room instead. This makes it 3 people who have lost their lives because of X. We don't know for sure if X had anything to do with Shoma's case. Of course they did. We'd all be in serious trouble if it wasn't X. Because that would mean there are 2 killers of X's caliber running around free. So who do you think X might be? Everyone fell silent. This was the question I was dreading the most. And it seemed like the others felt the same. Ever since Shoma shared his side of the story last night, we'd all been avoiding that particular issue. But it was time to face reality. I steeled myself and turned to Tsubasa. Tsubasa, do you still have the organic life detection device? Yes.
Oh.
12, the exact same number as the people present here. That means somebody among us is X. No, wait. It could have been someone who came in at midnight, left the school before the sun came up. Oh my god, Nozomi. I know you want to not suspect us, but that's not... No. Sadly, that's not possible. This device comes with a history log. At 4 a.m. last night, the number changed from 13 to 12 and stayed there. Ah. So Sir Shoma was murdered at 4 a.m. last night. Huh? Yeah? Miss Magadori, we are discussing something more important here. The number reduced by 1 when Shoma lost his life, but after that, it either went up or down. Proving that nobody came into the school or left it, right? Yes. Thing is, we're all screwed if we don't do something. X threatened to kill us all in that message, and they're doing just that. The more we put this off, the more people will be dropping dead, one by one. Well, I agree with the part about doing something, at least. Hey, Takumi, you're the leader. Come up with something. Or maybe... How about we make it compulsory to move around in groups of at least 3 during the day? Didn't someone mention before that 3 is a risky number? Well, yeah, but... Now... 3 is the perfect number because we're divisible by. That was because you 2 other teammates could be working together. But the situation has changed. According to Shoma, X is just 1 person. That's right, so a group of 3 should be fine. What about at night? Feels like that's the main thing. So far, all of them were taken out at night. Then we should make our decision. I'm just going to try and make all the decisions that's going to push everybody to die one by one. Phew, done and done. Are we all going to be sleeping here from now on? How bland and boring. Getting evacuation center vibes here. Would you prefer bland and boring or dead in a ditch? Dead in a ditch. We've used curtains to divide the area up into rooms, so everybody will have some semblance of privacy. Is this really going to work? What if the killer strikes while we're all sleeping? In fact, that's why we've avoided sleeping in one spot until now, right? Yes, and that's why I'm thinking of having a sentry system. 3 people will be on watch at all times. We'll also rotate 1 person out every hour. And if anything happens, just shout. That's reassuring. Now I can get a good night's rest. My skin will thank you. Looks like we're agreed then. This arrangement should stop X from causing further harm. We should be safe here for a while. Now we just had to continue our investigation and expose X's identity before they tried anything else. There was just one other thing that was bothering me. Shoma was killed today. I saw his body with my own eyes, which meant...
Did they bother to take his heart?
We just jumped 24 days. Well,
time to get ready for
Hart's
your
gone now.
75th day of active service here at Last Defense Academy.
because obviously they're only taking Hearts out of the morgue.
Prepare to spend another day.
I woke up with the sound of the morning announcement. The first thought crossed my mind that time was, not again, along with a sense of resignation. Looking up at the unfamiliar ceiling, it took me a few seconds to realize I was in the gym. I stood up from my makeshift bed, pulled open the curtain divider, and stepped outside. Takumi! He awakens. Okay, so maybe we're all gonna just end up dying one by one. I ain't the one to sweat the small stuff, but you gave us a real scare this time. You were out for 23 whole days. Is that a new record? Oh, for the love of murder. I turned slowly to look at everyone, then said, everyone's safe. Thanks to your last words. My last words? For us to move in groups during the day and sleep together at night. Remember, those were the instructions you gave us on day 51? We've been able to survive all this time because of them. X hasn't had an opportunity to strike. Or, like, I'm grateful you think it's my last words, but, you know, X hasn't stricken, maybe because I was unconscious. It also means X is still... Yes, we still don't know who they are. If we did, we would have thrown them in the cage and tossed away the key already. Now that I got a better look at them, I saw signs of fatigue on everyone's faces. X is among us. I'll be killed if I walk around with only one other person. They've all had to spend the last 23 days under the crushing weight of such thoughts. It's no wonder their mental fatigue was starting to show physically. Alright, there's something you need to know. What is it? About 10 days ago, we met the boy with the undying flames. Oh, so he's back to good. He showed himself?
Yeah.
Well, he was feeling very unwell, but said he just had to tell us something. And what was that? I recently found out that there's something called a distress signal transmitter somewhere in this school. It was put here in the event of all but one member of Team 1 dying. Only Team 1, though, because the two teams joining together had not been anticipated. The people on the satellite did not think Team 2 would ever come here. Which is strange, because Nigo said that was always the plan at some point. At any rate, no matter how strong they were, a single fighter wouldn't be able to win this war on their own. Instead, that survivor would be extracted and put on standby while the people in charge put together a fresh team for a new attempt. Once the correct series of codes had been entered into the transmitter, it would, well, transmit a distress signal. That's interesting to know. Once an official satellite received it, they'd send a rescue craft to the school. The survivor would get on board and be taken back to the satellite. That's supposed to be the sequence of events. Also, the rescue craft does not have a capacity restriction. That means people from both teams 1 and 2 can board it with no issues. The second-class Defense Academy does not have a transmitter of its own, so bringing the team over here was definitely the right move. Unfortunately, I do not know where that transmitter is located. Still, it seemed to me like this information could be of some use to you. That is why I came here to tell you about it. Interesting. A distress signal transmitter? I've never seen or heard of such a thing before. Same here. After hearing that, we split into groups to search for the transmitter, but still haven't found it. Doesn't matter. We'd have to put the transmitter on the back burner for now. Finding the identity of X was our top priority. X was most likely the one to kill Shoma. Or they could have ordered someone else to do it, like they did for Kako. At any rate, X was absolutely involved in Shoma's murder. As long as we could figure out who killed Shoma, we'd find out who X is. Alright. I clenched my fists tightly. Hideko, Tsubasa, come with me.
Oh.
What? Where? To the courtyard. I'm going to reinvestigate the scene of Shoma's murder. Very well. I don't mind, but... What's that? Can we have breakfast first? I'm starving. Oh, yeah, sure. I've eaten like nothing all day. And thus, Hideko, Tsubasa, and I went to the courtyard together after having breakfast. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Why did you ask us to come along? I can't go against my own last words now, can I? The part about moving together in groups during the day? But why choose us? No reason in particular, I just felt like it. Well, you're strong as hell, and really attractive, and she's hot as hell, and relatively strong. Felt like it. One of us could very well be X. Then it'll be a 2-on-1 fight. What if X tries to destroy the evidence during this investigation? I'm not worried. They would have already done it while I was unconscious if it was that important. Yes, that is true. Then what are you investigating? One question before I answer that. Nobody had an alibi for 4 a.m. on day 51, right? When Shoma was killed? Yes, we were all sleeping in our rooms. Well, Ava was in Ato's room, actually. But you know what I mean. What about the murder weapon, or any other clues? So far, we haven't found anything. that case, the fastest way to identify X is to see who could possibly kill Shoma under those circumstances. The killer likely used a special method to kill Shoma while he was locked in the cage. Figuring out what that method was could break this case wide open. Who could have done that? Was thus the best line of investigation pursued. How exactly are we going to do that? This place is so big that I have no idea where to even start. We need some sort of clue first. There is a clue. Shoma's body was wet when we first found it, remember? I think finding out why may very well be the key to solving this case. I walked over to the courtyard fountain. There was a valve with a handle on it. There was a valve with a handle on the side, probably for adjusting the amount of water being spouted. If we turn off the water, it'll stop getting filtered through down here. I opened it completely, and then a frightening amount of water gushed out all at once, making the fountain look like an erupting geyser or open dam. A giant column of water shot up into the sky and came down again like a downpour of rain. I quickly turned the handle to close the valve. Soon the water slowed considerably and went back to its normal flow. Phew, that was close. What exactly were you trying to do? I'm glad I was standing over here. I'd be all wet by now if I'd been any closer. Damn. Next, I checked the central drain. It was more like a tunnel than a drain. The water flowed deep into that tunnel. There was a large handle here as well. I turned the handle and a wall came down from the top of the tunnel, completely sealing up the drain. After checking it, I returned the handle to its original position. I briefly saw Hideko and Tsubasa staring at me in confusion as I proceeded to my next destination, the cage where Shoma had been held. We already checked every last inch of that cage. There are no hidden tunnels underneath, and the bars are as strong as can be. No scratches on the lock either, and no traces of anything that had been tampered with. The hinges of the gate are also untouched. As I was listening to them, my eyes wandered to the top of the cage. Officially, this cage is an animal pen. I think it was supposed to be modeled after a bird cage or something. You see that ring suspended from the top there? Yes, what about it? Those are supposed to screw off.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
I didn't answer, instead lowering my glance to the bottom of the cage where something caught my eye. This cage isn't secured to the floor. It's just like a bottomless cage placed on top of a base. So the cage is possible to move manually. It literally weighs a ton. How do you know that? There was a blueprint of the courtyard on the war room's computer that had some information about it. I see, so it weighs 1 ton. Hey, that reminds me. You see, this courtyard was originally created as a biotope for space development research? Biotope? Or I'll try to keep the explanation as brief as possible. It said that before world death, Earth was full of different kinds of terrain, like arid regions and rainforests. And each of these regions was inhabited by living, unique things to that area, including plants, microorganisms, and vertebrates. For research purposes, this place had originally been created as a perfect replica of the ecosystems those creatures had been living in. That's why there were blasts of hot air to simulate a desert environment. It could also withstand atmospheric pressures many times Earth's range. But wouldn't that amount of pressure cause the windows to break? What are you talking about? Those things over there aren't windows. They're all display screens, including the ceiling. Look carefully and you'll see the light flickering every once in a while. There's no way the sky could be visible from here. We are inside the school after all. You might be right, but what about the exits on both sides connected to the hallways? Atmospheric pressure can escape from those exits when it gets too high, right? Those places were closed in the beginning, covered by partition walls. Don't you remember? Oh, right. They opened up after Siri released it. In other words, as long as the walls on those exits and drains are down, the courtyard is completely sealed space. A completely sealed space. Are you done here? Shall we return to the gym? Not yet. There's just one more thing. This. A balloon? The one we found during our investigation on day 51. Why do you think it was found so close to the cage? I have no idea. I can hardly imagine it being someone's personal belonging. The most likely possibility is that someone made it using the Gift-O-Matic. Gift-O-Matic. We'll definitely be able to find a clue if we go there.
Oh, it might have I wonder if that would even have a logger when you make stuff.
It might. We made our way to the rec room. Investigating the Gift-O-Matic resulted in a few discoveries. So in summary, the official name of this is the Sturdy Rubber Balloon. It was made using very durable material. The description on the box mentions it doesn't break easily. Better than a condom. The balloon has a capacity of 10 liters. It should be quite big when blown up. 10 liters of water. According to the history logs, it had been crafted a total of 100 times. Who needs that many balloons and for what? Unfortunately, we won't be able to find out who crafted them. That data, and only that data, has been erased. After reviewing our findings, I put the balloon back into my pocket. Tsubasa, is there a tire pump in the parking lot? Yeah, an electric air compressor. Is it portable? Of course it is. It has the caster wheels attached to it. Anybody can move it anyway. But why do you ask? Sorry, let me gather my thoughts first. I'll explain it all to everyone once I have a clearer picture of how the events unfolded. A clearer picture. And when will that happen? Probably by 7 p.m. tonight. Wow, it's always by 7. Okay. So he's investigating. We returned to the gym together where I immediately started sorting out my thoughts. The day flew by as I did, and soon it was night. The time I had asked everyone to meet me had arrived. It was exactly 7 p.m. when I quietly said to everyone, "Hey guys, can we all move to the courtyard? I have something important to discuss." So, these clues are a little bit strange. Nothing's immediately sticking out to me as a personal effect of somebody else. What was this important thing we had to come all the way here to discuss? Well, you see, I turned my gaze upward, then slowly lowered my head.
I figured out who killed Shoma.
Bullshit!
What?
So we have... Wait. I think I'm getting... Assuming a 10-liter balloon filled with helium, assuming, so 100 times 10, assuming 1,000 liters worth of balloons would have enough upward force to lift the cage. Who did it? First, we must answer how. How did the killer stab Shoma while he was inside a locked cage? Once we figure that out, the identity of the killer becomes apparent. Because only that person could have done it all under those circumstances. Just cut to the chase and tell us who the killer is.
All right. I'll tell you. The person. It was. The name of. That person.
Fuck. Okay. Killed Shoma is... Water valve for the fountain, high pressure. Water valve for the door closes the drainage. We can put up the partition and seal the room. It's like a bird cage. So it's designed to get lifted, but they can't lift it because it weighs 2,000 pounds. So I'm kind of leaning towards Kurara since she's just naturally good at building shit, so she might know the specs and mechanics of doing something like that.
Yeah, the only one that might have the know-how would be, like, just on an intelligence level, our glasses chick, Karara,
Tsubasa, she's good with
and
machines.
Tsubasa. I think you'd have to. It might be our math girl. You have but you have to have a very strong sense of math to be able to figure that out. But I mean, maybe they didn't know how many, and so they just made 100.
But why was only one left behind?
Maybe they didn't use it and it dropped. Is the only thing I can think of. I don't know.
I can off myself.
That's crazy. Let me see. So we have the balloon.
The high pressure valve for the fountain. The drainage pipe. For the opposite of the fountain. The two partitions which seal the room. I'm gonna say Kurara.
Maybe. I don't know.
Kurata the one behind this? Let's give it a shot. The real killer is you, Kurata O Suzuki. Ha! You facetious freak. I'd like to know how you think I did it. Very well, allow me to explain. What you did was you know, it's all very simple. You were... This guy's stinking to high heavens. Of course he is. He's X after all. Hey, now that I think about it, nobody got attacked whenever he was unconscious, right? Maybe he's trying to frame someone else to make the rest of us let our guard down. After that, he'll tell us there was no need to travel in groups or sleep together anymore and then commit his next crime. So he brought this matter up in a futile attempt to shift suspicion away from him. It does make sense. Yes, it does indeed. One after another, the others started voicing their agreement, and I found myself unable to offer anything in rebuttal. You leave us no choice but to lock you up. Wait, this is a mistake. I was just... And we failed. In the end, I was detained by the others and locked inside the cage in the courtyard. What possessed me to even say that? I couldn't remember. But it was too late for regrets. I had no strength left to even sigh. Only a little while later, my consciousness fled from me. Day 100. Skip right to it. I had no idea how long I was unconscious. When I next opened my eyes, I saw the cage had been unlocked. Unsure of what that meant, I pushed the door open nervously and stepped outside. Only to notice that someone was lying in the cage next to mine. I ran over to see who it was. Oh shit!
Oh my god.
I didn't even need to check. She was clearly already gone. The cage was unlocked. I went inside and touched her arm. It was deathly cold. She'd been dead for at least a few hours.
What's going on here?
I snapped down my disquieting thoughts and quickly started searching for the others. My next destination was the library. As soon as I entered, I saw...
Yoshika!
Yep, we didn't catch X, so we're all dead.
Yep.
I checked her body. She wasn't breathing and had no pulse. Judging from how cold she felt, it seemed like she had died a few hours ago as well. So this is what we get for being wrong. Thinking everyone might be in their rooms, I proceeded to the roof. It was eerily silent all around. There were no signs of life anywhere. Still convinced there had to be somebody around, I opened every single door to check. Takemaru's room, Hideko's room, Darumi's room. Their rooms were completely empty, abandoned. Kurata's room was next. I went inside, my glance fell on her bed. Lying there was...
No! Kurata too!
Yep. I checked her body. Like Ava and Kyoshika, she was cold to the touch.
No, wait. Maybe...
Clinging to the ray of hope, I decided to move Kurata's body to the infirmary, but... Too much time has passed since death, impossible to revive, was all the monitor would display. I had a really bad feeling about this whole thing. Dark despondency pooled and congealed in the pit of my stomach. But it's fine. It's going to be fine. That's what I kept telling myself as I continued searching. I checked every room on the second and third floors, and then any other rooms I had yet checked. I didn't find anyone. Finally, I reached the first floor. Upon stepping inside the mysterious room with no name, I saw...
Yugamu.
There was no need to even check on his body. I could feel an eerie chill crawling underneath my skin and spreading to the rest of my body. The last place I visited was the garage. I pushed the door open and cautiously stepped inside. And then...
Oh.
They were strung up, slit, and drained. When I finally registered the scene before me, I thought I could hear the sound of my heart breaking apart. I felt nothing, not even sadness or despair. I simply turned over the bodies mechanically and emotionlessly. Takemaru, Ima, Darumi, and Tsubasa's hearts had been removed through their backs. Acting on a hunch, I peered underneath Hideko's clothing to check her back as well. There was a large empty cavity there as well. Just as I suspected. But I was no longer capable of reasoning this through. My mental faculties had taken over by a thick, impenetrable fog. We didn't see Nozomi anywhere.
No.
Stepping outside, I wandered around aimlessly for a while before coming to a stop in the schoolyard. I stood rooted to the spot in a daze for quite some time. Then a passing, soundless breeze blew past. As I took in the breeze, a slight sense of suspicion flashed through the back of my mind. How many dead bodies have I found? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. I was put in the prison cell on day 75. How many survivors were there at that time? 12. We found 9 bodies. 3's left. We are 2. Nozomi's...
Maybe that's why Nozomi was actually always nervous when we woke up.
Yeah. So, let's see here. There are 12 survivors remaining. We're number 1. Nozomi will be number 2. Who's missing? Moko.
Oh.
But I don't think we found her body either. Including myself, there were 12, which meant that suspicion was quickly dispelled from my mind when the remaining 2 survivors appeared before me. We fought so hard in the defensive battles. Everyone gave their all. We even beat Veshness. And yet, this was what we woke up to.
Takumi. You killed them all, right?
I was in the cage the whole time.
We're the last 3 still alive. No one else but you could have done it.
I was asleep the whole time, unconscious. Her accusation jolted my mind into action, and I started to defend myself desperately.
No, it wasn't me. I went through the same ordeal too. My cage was unlocked when I woke up, and I walked out to almost everybody dead.
You really think we'll believe you? After what you've already done?
Who else could have done this, huh? Tell us.
One of you 2. Moko was right. The 3 of us were the only ones still alive. It stood to reason that one of us had to be the killer.
Come on, we're waiting. Who killed everybody if not you?
It was...
We can make all the choices. Yep, we chose wrong. Did we choose wrong again?
I'm sorry, Nozomi, but you're the only one who could have done this.
How could you even say such a thing? It wasn't me. It really wasn't me. No, forget it. I don't care anymore. Everyone died like that. So She suddenly screamed at the top of her lungs and ran off toward the wall of fire. I quickly followed her. Before long, we reached the wall of fire, but Nozomi did not slow down. She continued running at full speed right into the wall of fire.
No!
This wasn't what I wanted. All because I made that accusation. Because of me, Nozomi. Yep, we accused wrong. No, wait, it's going to be fine. I may still be able to make it. I'll save Nozomi. Drag her out of those flames, and my body was already moving before I could finish the thought. I'd lost myself into the fiery flames. The very next moment, I was vaporized in an instant. My consciousness ceased just as quickly as my body was reduced to ashes. Bad end. Alright, mark down the time. Because these are going to be shorts. About 33 minutes. Episode 45. Oh, shit. Squad. Oh, okay. Now they're telling us who's who. Oh.
Oh, I see.
We didn't see any of them. We didn't see half of those guys because, you know, when we died. Second scenario. Hey, they're getting unredacted. Scenario designers. Reset route. Goodbye Ato route. Rebellion route. Ava route. Multiple Atos route. Serial battles route. Conspiracy route. Casual route. Box of blessings. Box of calamity. Cult of Takumi. Veshness. Coming of age. There's a lot of routes. Comedy route. Killing game route.
Huh.
Cool.
That's cool.
There's a lot of routes. Number 95. Mystery route. A kind heart. Well done.
Okay.
So, we fucked that up. So, start today just so I can open up the menu. I wonder if it'll actually let me, like, see the endings, and I can just freaking not have to worry about it. I can just freaking just...
Oh, just go through.
can't access the gallery right now. Oh,
Oh, other people that we can blame.
we have Takumi and Ava. Okay, so. That would just say other. Join the invader hunt. Yes, join the invader hunt. No. So that leads us to the mystery route. This probably leads us to the actual killing game route. So we can blame Takumi, and we can blame Moko. So we can suspect ourselves, or we can suspect them. Why would we suspect Ava, though?
To try to sow discourse.
Just throw her under the bus. It was Moko.
You! Moko Mochiro!
You killed everyone. It had to have been you. There's no mistake about it. No, no, no. Mm-hmm.
No!
Okay. Moko charged me deliriously while brandishing a massive butcher knife. I instinctively grabbed her wrist, snatched her butcher knife away, and died.
Yep. No.
Slashed her neck. I watched as Moko collapse to the ground. I killed her. I hadn't intended to, but it just happened. My knees were knocking against each other. My strength gave out and the butcher knife fell to the ground. Immediately after that,
Moko! No!
she was almost screaming at the top of her lungs, dashed over, and the knife that had fallen from my hands was lying at my feet. She quickly picked it up and swung it wildly. Next thing I knew, I was dead.
So mean. Why?
She's almost standing in front of me with an astonished look on her deathly pale face. I stared absently at her until my conscience faded into nothingness. 39 minutes. I want to check the gallery. Event gallery, probably. Audio gallery. Audio gallery. Well, that's a little annoying. So I have to load that file. So it should be listed on either. Load that file because it's tied to the save file. For decision. Sorry, we got 3 endings here, back to back to back to back. Stepping outside, la 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 la. It just won't let me open up the gallery right now. Yeah, I guess we're not on the killing game route because we didn't take part in the killing game. We're still doing the mysteries. You're right, it was me, Dio. I'm the best. Alright, so getting all these endings won't be so bad, I reckon.
I think I probably just didn't remember it.
Because there's no either one of you here could have done all that. That means you must be right. It was me. I must have killed everybody, somehow, without being conscious of it. I slumped my shoulders and hung my head weakly. Immediately after, I knew it. As Moko said that, she reached behind her and took out a large butcher knife. Ooh, juicy. Ooh, very juicy. He's just a baby. He can't watch this. He's just a baby. Next thing I knew, I was staring at my kneeled body, arms dropping lifelessly on both sides. How was I able to see my own body from this angle? That was the last thought that ran through my mind before I blacked out completely. Strong hand just to fucking just one swell motion. Yeah, we died, brother. Mystery route terminated Sumino. Ending 96. Okay. Oh, what?
This is kind of cool.
Kind of not okay that they friggin'
Tell.
I guess. Maybe it's after we already picked one, so we don't end up. Cause maybe it is after we already picked one.
Okay.
So actually, let's see here. We have join the. Show me kill them, or accuse somebody else. Join they made it hurt. I mean, obviously, this is just yes or no. I don't know. I mean, they're all going to be locked, I feel like. Until, you know, we already picked one. I don't know. Let's just go say Takumi did it. We did it. It was us. Is Takumi the one behind this? Sure is. I sure am.
I don't have any memories of it, but the kill, it could very well have been me.
Yeah, like I've been saying all this time, right? But how could you not have any memories? It's simple, I just don't remember. Then you could not be the killer. But I don't believe any of you here could have done something so cruel. Also, I'm the only one who could have gotten inside since the key was with me. There are other reasons, too. Nothing happened when I was unconscious, right? That would make sense if I was the culprit. The cause of my fainting disease may have played a part as well. Traces of treatment found on damaged parts of the brain. Fainting disease likely developed as an after effect. Those damaged parts are actually yet to heal properly. I could have gotten up subconsciously at night and did all those things without being aware of it, right? That's why I'm saying it was probably me. Maybe. Then you leave us with no choice but to lock you up in a cell. Are you okay with that, Takumi? No. Huh? You're still trying to put up a fight even after you've confessed? I wasn't confessing, I was just saying it's a possibility. But you were so confident you knew who the killer was. You are being utterly incoherent. Anyway, hold them down, everyone. Okay. Stop! Stop! Stay away from me! I said, stay away! I screamed and started running. You bastard! Stop right there! I burst out of the room into the hallway and just kept running. Some time passed. I was finally able to throw off all of my pursuers after running around the school haphazardly.
I'll be in danger if I stick around here. I should leave the school for a while and get my head together.
I headed to the entrance hall and grabbed a fire extinguisher before sneaking outside. Before long, I arrived at the wall of fire, but somebody had been lying in ambush there. Yugamu. You are X. No. But you basically admitted it just now. I told you, I was just throwing out possibilities. Save your excuses. Now I can finally kill you without regrets. What? Have you forgotten that I am an assassin? Wait, does that mean... Yugamu pulled out a dirk and walked towards me with a smirk on his face.
No! Stop!
And she got yummed.
Nozomi! Why?
I saw you, so I ran after you.
Yugamu! How could you do this?
Hey, this wasn't my fault. I was just trying to intimidate you. Killing you had never been my intention at all.
Lies!
Shut up!
I charged at Yugamu with a feral roar and grabbed hold of each other. As we were struggling, we lost our balances and our bodies careened into a wall of fire at the same time. The very next moment, end. Our bodies vaporized in the blink of an eye. My consciousness ceased as quickly as my body reduced to ashes. We did it. Mystery route, dance in the purple flames. Alright, Ava. Why'd you do it? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I trusted you, girl. I know, but he was so creepy, man. He was so fucking creepy. Is Ava the one behind this? Tetrodotoxin. Like,
The real killer.
like to be fair, she did spend
Right.
2 weeks in a cage here, so she probably became familiar with it.
Right.
You! Ava!
What are you saying, Takumi? I came to the school on day 21. I couldn't have written the first threatening note or killed Gaku. That means I couldn't have been X.
Indeed.
What?
I didn't say you were X. What I said was you're the person who killed Shoma.
I did not. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Shut your mouth and just watch. I'll be exposing every last detail of your criminal wrongdoings from start to finish.
And then I'm gonna blow you up.
Oh.
Well, it sounds like she was the one. What makes you think I'm the killer? Before getting to that part, we'll have to explain how the murder even took place to begin with. Shoma's dead body was found in that cage. He had been stabbed multiple times. That means you had to have figured out a way to get inside the cage. But the door was locked, and you were the only one with the key to me. Yes, I did have the key. So you couldn't have used it. You used another way to get inside. Another way? The key lies in the design of that cage.
The design? What are you talking about?
The bottom's not secured.
The bottom part of the cage isn't secured in place.
It's just a heavy iron cage mounted on a base.
I don't understand. That cage isn't secured in place. What of it? That's totally irrelevant to the current discussion.
You lifted it up.
The cage could simply be lifted up.
So you went inside from the bottom. What nonsense is this, Takumi? How is it possible for anyone to lift up such a heavy metal structure? Very true. That cage weighs a ton. It's not something anyone can move with their bare hands. Wait, aren't you contradicting yourself right now?
You claimed I lifted it up, but now you're saying it's too heavy to be lifted? Is there even any way to do that?
You used buoyancy.
You used buoyancy.
Buoyancy? What the fuck does that word even mean? That's right, you made the courtyard a watertight space by closing off the drains. Oh yeah, if it's a water and airtight space, atmospheric pressure will be drastically different, which means it'll act like the cage. Yeah. So the mask can let her breathe. It can function as an oxygen mask for up to 30 minutes.
We were dumb.
She sealed off the door. She sealed off. Yeah, yep, okay, so here's exactly how it happened. She sealed off the two doors, making an airtight space. She sealed off the drain, making it watertight. And then she overflowed the fountain. She literally flooded the entire room in an airtight space. Used the 100 balloons that were now floating upwards underwater via the air compressor to pull the cage, which no longer weighed a ton and probably maybe have weighed, I don't know, 1,000 pounds or less. Lifted it up. Got inside there. Probably stabbed it multiple times underwater. And then vamoosed. And then you flooded the entire place. There's a fountain there, right? You open its valve fully to release an enormous amount of water through the nozzles, turning it into something like an erupting geyser or open dam. You left the fountain valve wide open for a while to fill the space with water. I was not gonna fucking... Oh, I'm sorry, your explanation was so outrageous I couldn't help but be amused. Takumi, do you know how powerful water pressure can be? Even if we assume the water was released into the environment after covering up any openings, some would still leak out because those walls would be under constant pressure from the force of the water. No, that wouldn't happen. That's how this place was designed. Because the courtyard was originally constructed for a certain special purpose.
Special purpose? What
Space development research. They are atmospherically sound.
This place was a biotope to be used for space development research.
It was designed to be able to withstand atmospheric pressures many times in its range. That's what Tsubasa said. Yeah, that's right. And that's why it's impossible for water pressure to cause any leaks. After a while, the place became filled with water. Considering the water flow of that fountain, probably took about 3 hours for water to rise to the top of the cage. Shoma was killed at 4 a.m. Counting back from that time brings us to 1 a.m., the approximate time the water started accumulating. Even if you were right, that entire cage is made of iron. It literally weighs a ton. You just said so yourself.
It wouldn't shift around simply from being submerged in water. Buoyancy doesn't work that way.
No, but rubber balloons do.
By using sturdy rubber balloons.
Rubber balloons? Ones that can be filled with air up to a capacity of about 10 liters. You inflated 100 of these balloons and put them into the cage. To be more precise, You put the deflated balloons into the cage first before inflating them. Archimedes' principle states that upward buoyant force is equal to the weight of the displaced water. 100 balloons that hold 10 liters of water is equal to 1,000 kilograms. In other words, the effect is 1 ton of upward force.
Oh, that's what you're trying to come at.
Seeing just how strong the upward force of a balloon is. That cancels out the weight of the cage and reduces it to near zero. You'd barely need to use a single finger to lift it then. You were easily able to lift the cage with just the slightest effort. 110-liter rubber balloons, that's just not... It would be impossible for me to inflate so many balloons in such a short time. How could anyone have done that? More than likely used a certain tool.
A certain tool? Well, what tool was it then?
The tire pump from the garage.
The bicycle tire pump in the parking lot. It's an electric air compressor.
It's mounted on wheels and can be easily moved here. Using that would make it a literal breeze to fill up all those balloons. I see. That method does make it possible for the cage to be lifted up while it was submerged in water. But don't you find it strange? If the cage had been underwater for that long, Shoma would have drowned inside. Yet the revival medic said his cause of death was hemorrhagic shock.
Doesn't that conflict with the sequence of events you've laid out? If your deduction holds true, Shoma would have drowned to death before he was
He breathed the
stabbed.
balloon air, that's why there was one left.
Ah.
No, because it wasn't actually.
Shoma likely breathed the air that was in the balloons.
I mean, he untied them? While trying desperately to stay afloat, I've heard more believable miracles. wait. Takumi, you idiot.
Doesn't that if your deduction holds true, Shoma would have drowned to death before he was stabbed.
The cage wasn't completely submerged, right? No, it absolutely was. You cannot answer? Can I conclude that I won this argument then? Then how did he hold his breath?
Doesn't that conflict with the sequence?
Okay, so all of them.
He must have held his breath like his life depended on it.
The world record for holding one's breath underwater is 24 minutes. That's more than enough time for you to lift the cage up, slip inside, and then... Wait, that record was made after the person breathed in pure oxygen first, right? We saw signs that Shoma struggled like crazy at that time. He wouldn't have lasted more than a few minutes, even if he'd held his breath. Yes, that's right. That's what I was about to say, yeah. Okay.
Doesn't that conflict with the sequence of events you've... If your deduction holds true, Shoma would have drowned to death before...
Dude, I need to rethink this. What?
Doesn't that conflict with the sequence of events you've laid out? If your deduction holds true, Shoma would have drowned to death
The
before...
cage wasn't completely submerged? I thought I did that. Maybe I fat fingered left
The
instead.
cage wasn't completely submerged.
Or maybe I hit it too late.
Yeah, that's true too.
The water just had to stop below the topmost part of the cage for it to work. Discharging water equal to the volume of the cage itself created the buoyant force needed. Shoma kept his head above the water surface and breathed through his mouth, gaping and gasping for air the whole time. You took this opportunity to lift up the cage while underwater, slip inside, and stab him multiple times. What happened to the water in the courtyard after that? You opened the drainage walls to drain it away.
Then the courtyard should have still been wet when we discovered Shoma's body. But was it wet? No, not at all.
Hot air blasts to simulate desert. The air and heat of the desert would have
Used
evaporated
blasts of hot
super
air to
fast.
dry the place up.
What? I mentioned just now this courtyard was originally created as a biotope for space development research. Because of that, it's perfectly capable of reproducing a desert environment, which means it has the ability to blast hot wind around the area. After draining the water away, you activated the setting to dry the courtyard. Due to the lack of time, however, the water didn't dry up completely. When we first discovered Shoma's body, it was actually still somewhat damp. It was dry enough, though, plus we were all distracted by Shoma's dead body. That's why we failed to notice the remaining wetness in the area. The only thing we did notice was that Shoma's body was damp. Fine, I understand. This is utter foolishness. Let me summarize what you were trying to say. Dang. I went underwater, lifted up the cage, and stabbed Shoma multiple times while he was gasping for air at the surface. Oh my goodness. Then I dove underwater again and turned the valve handle to open the drainage valve. Look, Takumi, I am neither a diver nor a mermaid. Even if I wasn't an expert at holding my breath.
A regular person would struggle to do even one of the things you're accusing me of. And underwater at that.
You have your mask of awesomeness. That's why you wanted it.
No. It's absolutely possible.
You used your mask, Ava. Tsubasa told me about it. There's a miniature air tank in your mask. It allows you to use it as a sealed gas mask. You can breathe for up to 30 minutes using it like that. Yeah, I did say that. I never thought it would work underwater, though.
Yes, I remember now. My mask did have a function like that. But someone stole it from me. That person must be the real killer. Yes, that has to be it. I know I am right.
Well, as we know, thankfully we don't need to worry about her joining in the battle because this was a crucial decision where there's no more defensive battles.
You've been cornered and you know it, Ava. Just admit that you're the one behind this. Your mask was unique. It's custom made to fit a specific shape. According to Tsubasa, you're the only one who can wear it. You were right, Ava. This isn't a crime that a regular person could have committed. Only a diver, mermaid, or someone with that particular mask could have done it. Ergo, the person who could wear that particular mask is the culprit. And only one person in this world can put on that mask. That person is standing right in front of me. It's none other than you, Ava!
You're the only one who could have killed
You're
Shoma.
the only one who could have killed Shoma!
And I'm okay with it. He was creepy.
No!
Yes. Successfully unlocked. Ava, why? I love you. The world may never know. Takumi, you're right. I killed Shoma. The method and the flow of events were as you deduced. I have nothing to add. But have I really done something wrong? I too had been threatened by X. I had no choice. When did you meet X? A short while before 1 a.m. on day 51. Just before the murder, I heard a knock on my door. And you opened it. Yes. Why? The thought that it might be X outside the door did flash through my mind briefly, but I am not a part of the SDU, and I wasn't even here when you saw the threatening note. I just assumed I could not have been on X's radar. Well, what did X say?
I have the remote detonator that will trigger the bomb inside your body. Here it is, in case you think I'm lying. I'm going to give you some instructions now, but you don't have much time. Follow my orders quickly, or else. Should you go against me, or tell the others about my existence, I will detonate the bomb in your body immediately.
Wait, what's going on? How did X get their hands on the detonator? Maybe they stole it from one of us? No, X said that they obtained it through the proper channels, from Tsubasa herself. No! Here's the device to give a copy to everyone, and I'll pass you yours later, Tsumi. Now we are 100% sure that X is one of us. No, I think you removed me from that list. I passed the first detonator to Hidoko and never got it back, and haven't received the duplicate from Tsubasa yet. That is fair, so Takumi shall be taken off the list of suspects. Ooh, safe. Everyone else started scrutinizing each other with great suspicion, not daring to even move their bodies, only their eyes. Hey, Ava, just one thing. Yes? X said they'd blow you up if you told the others about him, right? Yes. And that's what you're doing now. You feeling okay? Why hasn't X blown you up yet, indeed? Because we're all here.
Yeah, right.
I believe they could if they wanted to. The device is small enough to fit in the palm of someone's hand. It could be hidden in their sleeve, around their chest, or around the waist, and no one would notice. It would be easy to simply press the button at the opportune moment. But X cannot do that for one particular reason. And what's that? Takumi, do you remember what I told you about the bomb mechanism before? Yes, I remember. Anyone standing within a 25-yard radius at the time will be blown into... Oh, okay. 25? That makes the blast diameter the length of an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Who else knows that?
Who else knows what?
That conversation was private between me and her, so who else knows that?
Whoever was in here at the time. I don't know. Basically, the length of this entire courtyard. Aha, that's why X isn't pressing the button. Because they'll be caught in the blast as well. And it's not like they can simply run away. Taking such action is as good as admitting you are X. That's why X has got their hands tied, eh? This is the perfect opportunity. For what? For us to get more information about X from Ava. Since they can't blow her up, we can ask her anything we want. Great idea. Ava, do you know anything else about X? Their height, body shape. They were dressed in the same outfit Shoma previously described as used a voice changer as well. So it's not possible to discern who they were by their looks and voice. But Ava looked down. A short hesitant silence later, she spoke up again.
Actually, I figured out who X is.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's me. How'd you figure that out? By their mannerisms. Their mannerisms? You know how some people subconsciously touch their chin or play with their hair when thinking about something? Those sort of mannerisms. They tried really hard to hide it, of course, but I still managed to pick up on it. So, who was X?
All right, I will tell you. X is. The real identity of X is.
Suddenly a sense of dread washed over me. My mind started working overtime as I went through all the possibilities. Maybe X would really press the button now. Everyone thinks X won't do it because that would mean blowing themselves up as well. But if their identity was revealed, it would be the end of them anyway. They might even prefer to die with everyone in the blast over being caught and imprisoned. But in that case, why weren't they pressing the button now, before Ava could reveal their identity? Were they banking on the possibility that Ava might say the wrong name? If she did, X could just sit back and watch the show without doing anything.
Oh no.
And if she really said X's real name, they could always press the button at that time. Surely that was why X was adopting a wait-and-see attitude right now. It might be dangerous for Ava to say the name out loud. Even if she got it right, everyone would die anyway. Still, I might just be overthinking things. X could be hesitating simply because they were afraid to die. What do I do? What should I do? There was literally no time to hesitate any longer. My final decision was...
Oh my god.
Final decision is... Who's X? Nope. I feel like X might have a backup plan somehow. I decided to let Ava finish her sentence without interruption. However, she stayed silent after that and refused to say another word. What is the matter, Lady Ava? X got your tongue? Or do you actually not know who X is? What? Then why did you pretend like you knew? At Ima's question, Ava suddenly... She smirked and let out a chuckle, looking as if she was mocking us. When I saw her expression, the truth dawned on me. She was trying to get X to reveal themselves. Of course, you're afraid, right? You're afraid to die. Even if you were forced to do so by X, you were still the one to kill Shoma. That is an unforgivable act. Then you thought to yourself, I'm going to be thrown in the cage again. This time, they're never going to let me out. Why should I stay then? I'll blow myself up and take everyone in the SDU with me. But you were afraid to face death. You never had that courage to begin with. So you decided to leave it in the hands of X, right? The act of pressing the button to activate the bomb. Oh, that's why you lied about knowing X's identity. Wait, that means you're going along with all of us all this time was just an act? When you said you hated Veshness, was that a lie too? Also, you could gain our trust to gather intel while hiding in plain sight. Ava said nothing in response. Her lips didn't move for a second. But something else did. Her hand. Detonator on the joint left me. Look, my body moved before my mind did. I exploded into action, dashed over to Ava at breakneck speed. I grabbed her left wrist and shouted out. Get away, everyone! At that, everybody made a mad scramble for the exit. Right after that, Ava grabbed my shoulder and forced me to face her. As I did, I saw a raised foot and I found myself being kicked away. I landed near the exit, where there were 5 other people. They had just reached the gate and were not yet outside. The other 5 had rushed to the exit on the other side and were about the same distance away as well. I quickly stood up and looked at Ava's direction. She pinched her little finger and
Is
said,
this the courage you said I didn't have?
Oh, damn.
she pulled on her little finger without a trace of hesitation. Oh, damn. Goodbye. Or not. Who survived? Who didn't?
Wow! We have just
It's day 80. I was already so used to waking up and finding out that I had missed a bunch of days that I was more surprised by the fact that I was somehow still alive. Come to think about it, I seem to recall someone pulling me back with great force just before the explosion. That could be why I survived. I wonder who saved me. I didn't see who it was, but I remember a lavender dress. I can think about that later. Is everyone okay? I stood up from the makeshift bed, pulled open the curtain divider, and stepped outside. And then... What do you mean Tsubasa and Moko were gone? Exactly what I meant. They were both missing when I woke up. You were the last three on watch last night, right? Yes, but halfway through my shift, I felt the pain in my neck. Something had pricked me. We go sleepy. Somebody must have jabbed me with that stolen anesthetic because I blacked out immediately. And when you woke up, they were both gone. That's what I've been trying to say. It was at this point that everybody finally noticed I was awake. Sir Takumi, I see you have decided to rejoin us in the land of the living. And we'll keep going for like 5 more minutes on this episode. 5 days, no see. Pretty fast, all things considered. Yeah, hey, shouldn't we be looking for Tsubasa and Moko? Yes, the 9 of us here will split into groups of 3. After some discussion, we decided on the following groups. Group 1, me, Nozomi, Datami. Group 2, Takamaru, Kudara, Kyoshika. Group 3, Hiroko, Yugamu, and Ii. Let's go find them. Excuse me. And thus we embarked on the search for Tsubasa and Moko. We visited every place in the school to see if we could find any traces of them. However, they're nowhere to be found. It's already been an hour since we started looking. Suddenly we heard strange voice coming from the schoolyard. Bad news! Teams Takumi and Takemaru, can you hear me? If so, come to the parking lot right now. We gave each other knowing glances before rushing toward the stairwell together. Takemaru's team was already in the parking lot by the time we arrived. There are a few trees near the parking lot. Hideko and Takemaru's teams were staring agape at something near the top of them. Oh no, they're hanging and drained. Dread started to pool in the pit of my stomach. I turned slowly and cautiously to look in the direction of their stares. What I saw was...
No. No! How?
It was clear they were both dead. Blood drained from my face and I felt sick to the bone. Now 5 of my friends are dead. I didn't know how my heart wasn't breaking apart. Somehow I held myself together and said,
Help me lower them to the ground and move them to the infirmary.
Who's X? I don't know. Subject Tsubasa Kawana. Cause of death, hemorrhagic shock. Estimated time of death, day 80 between 5 and 8 a.m. Oh, multiple stab wounds to chest and abdomen. The murder weapon was likely a sharp blade about 8 inches long. Too much time has passed since death. Cannot revive. Mokobochiro. Same thing. Lacerated carotid artery. The murder weapon was likely a sharp blade of unknown length. Too much time has passed and she's dead. After everyone had a chance to view the monitor, the mood in the room turned utterly gloomy. We silently moved their bodies to the morgue. Hey, do you mind if I mention something? Go on. It's something I noticed about Tsubasa's bag. She got her heart stolen like the others? Wait, how did you know about the hearts being stolen? I decided it was not something worth hiding and told them about it. Ah, right. But I don't think the cases are related. Neither of them had their backs cut open. Then what is it you wanted to tell us about Tsubasa's bag? I noticed it when the hem of her blouse hitched up while we were moving her body just now. Nanami walked over to Tsubasa's body and removed the sheet that was covering it. She turned over the body and pulled the blouse up so we could all see the strange thing on her back. 2? Think so. Could be a Z or an N as well. No, it's a 2. I don't know. The mark is small enough to be completely covered by a hand. Not located in the center, but more toward the left side of the spine. This is indeed curious. The purplish color even makes it look like a bruise.
Oh!
What could this number mean? Nobody had an answer to that. It means it has to be somebody from number 2 Academy.
Oh.
Probably. We checked Moko's back as well. There was no markings at all, let alone one that looks like a number. After that, we turned them both around, closed their eyes, and put our hands together and pay our respects. Moko! 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 Nozomi clung on to Moko's body and wept bitterly. Her anguished chokes and sobs reverberated throughout the hushed morgue. Everybody's dying. Night soon fell when bedtime approached. Kudata suddenly brought something up. I found this in Tsubasa's space. Can you guys take a look at it? 9. Organic life protection device. 9. Same as the number of people here. Ain't it about time you just showed your hand, X? You're one of us here, ain't you? No criminal in their wrong mind would happily come forward to identify themselves with that. How about this, X? Fess up and we promise not to throw your sick little ass into jail. So come on, help us out here. Are we only talking to X right now? Say what? X instructed someone to kill Kako and Shomo. What if it was the same this time? Hey, don't you go putting weird ideas in my head. You're basically saying there are 2 killers among us. Whatever the case, we should probably be sleeping together. I agree. X should still have some of that anesthesia left. Another option is to increase the number of people on watch, and it's probably safer for everyone to just sleep in their own rooms. What do you think, Takumi? I folded my arms across my chest and thought long and hard about it before saying, yes, going back to sleeping in our rooms would be the better option at this point. On the condition that nobody opens their door until the morning announcement. Are we clear on that? You gotta piss and shit, do it in a quarter like an animal. Day 81. Or dying.
Get ready for your... Prepare. Be ready to give your life.
Yeah, X is just freaking speedrunning this murder now. I didn't black out despite having gone through so many stressful events yesterday. I didn't know why. It wasn't like I'd been cured of the fainting disease, if I even had that. During the day, we split up into groups to investigate the deaths of Tsubasa and Moko. But we didn't find a single clue. Soon the sun started setting. And then night fell. Darkness took over. Now we sleep.
Good night.
At ease, soldiers. It's time to hit the hay. You never know when the invaders might attack, so rest up while you still can.
Yes, sir.
Well then, good night.
Good night. Sleep tight. It happened right after the bedtime announcement had played. Oh, come on. Let me get one non-murdered night. The sound of the doorbell sent a chill up my spine. Was it X? Were they here to get me? Oh, now that I think about it, maybe the first time we were attacked from somebody on the roof, it was with the anesthetic.
Yeah.
Maybe they just jumped down, stabbed us, and then dragged us. Those thoughts had raced through my mind as I gingerly made my way over to the door, where I was greeted by a familiar voice from the other side. I know what you are thinking, Takumi. Maybe Hideko is X, right? But you would be wrong. I am not X. Yeah, you say that, but just listen to me. I need to tell you something. You are likely innocent because you did not have the detonator for Ava's bomb. For that reason, I trust you and want to tell you something I remembered. What is it? I am going to the morgue now. If you trust me, meet me there. I will be waiting for you. I heard the sound of her clacking heels getting softer and softer until it went completely silent. What should I do? I don't believe Hideko is X, but... damn it. I hid my infuser under my clothes as a precaution and ran directly to the morgue. Come on! So actually, it's just super visual novel part. Like, freaking... I want to freaking have access to the maps just so I can see the ending gallery thing, see how it works. I've never met an idiot as stupendously naive as you. Did you really even consider what would happen to you if I had really been X? But you said you weren't. Only a gullible idiot would believe a potential suspect is not a bloodthirsty serial killer simply because they said so. I gritted my teeth in frustration, then said, anyway, what was this thing you remembered? Hideko walked over to Tsubasa's dead body without a word. She stopped in front of the body and removed the sheet. She turned the body over, lifting the blouse up. It's that strange number we saw yesterday. What about it? This is her Livor Mortis code. Livor Mortis code? It's a unique number that appears on the back of all SDU members when they lose almost all of their cryptoglobin. Only those from Team 1 have this. Where did you hear about this? That is a 3-day long story I can tell you another time. All I can tell you now is that this is a very reliable piece of information. She moved Shoma's body. She moved Shoma's body next, removing the sheet covering him. She flipped his body around so his back was facing up. That's why they went through the back. To remove their code. There's a large gaping hole there. Shoma too? Yes, I believe X must have done this. But when? We've been moving in groups ever since he died. Well, there was just one sliver of opportunity X could have taken advantage of. What's that? When Ava self-destructed. Everyone got caught in the blast and were knocked out. It was the next morning by the time we regained consciousness. X must have woken up sooner than the rest of us, and Hiriko showed me Eito and Gaku's back cavities next. Finally, she turned Kaku's body over. We now have 4 cases on hand. Every wound is the same shape. X used the same method to remove their hearts from their bodies. Sure seems that way. What do you see when you look at this wound? Well, the outline is rather clearly defined, like they were cut open with a scalpel or something. Oh, I get it now. It's in the exact location. That has to be it. That part of their backs with the livor mortis code has been cut out. Why do we even care about that? Well done. Is it the same for Moko? Haven't you been listening? The livor mortis code only shows up for those on Team 1. Moko is from Team 2. Naturally, her back is code free. After saying that, Hiriko returned the bodies to their original positions. But why would X do such a thing? I'm guessing it's because they do not want us to learn of their existence. If the bodies were left in their original state, somebody was bound to notice the code sooner or later. So they cut out the part with the code in order to keep them hidden from us. But why? Why take out the hearts, too? Most likely a red herring. Think about it. What would be the first thing to come to your mind if you saw that multiple bodies only had certain parts of their backs cut open? I would think there had to be something on our bodies as well. You see? Now you are getting it. You would think X is targeting some invisible part, something invisible on that part of our bodies, right? And what would you do with that information? What am I supposed to do? For example, I would cut out that part of my body before X could get their hands on it. Or cover it with something like a tattoo of a soaring dragon. X would likely be highly inconvenienced if we did that. That is why they took the heart as well. They wanted us to believe their target was not that patch of skin on our backs, but the hearts in our backs. That's why X did that. Though that still leaves us with one question. What's that? I'll explain later. You see, X's objective has to do with knowledge of the livor mortis code. Our current hypothesis is that X cut out that particular part of the skin. Not because they were avid skin collectors, but simply to stop us from knowing about the existence of the codes. And if that is true, why set up the red herring? Because if X's objective was only to know what the codes were, they would have simply gotten rid of the bodies once they saw it.
It's
For the distress signal. If there's only one surviving member, you get the livor mortis codes. They're killing us off to get the codes to leave.
I see. But it's strange because the only person that had seemed to have been here before was Yuriko.
Well, yeah, but
In the last...
But we don't know if she actually knows where the distress signal is or not.
She may not know what the signal... Well, no.
She may know about... She may know about the livor mortis codes,
She
but...
knows about the codes.
But she may not know that they're for the distress signal.
Oh, that's right.
But they're clearly for the distress signal. Question is, why... Oh, no, that actually does super confirm it because the distress signal is only in this academy, not in the second one.
It's not in the second
so
one.
That has to...
Oh, that's why number 2 doesn't have the numbers.
Because they don't have a distress signal put in the extra codes.
There's no
reason for it.
There's no reason there, yeah.
So then, here's the question. If everybody here has a code, we just have to find the person who doesn't. Maybe. Because it's weird, because, like, if the codes are supposed to be for if all but one die, then how do you account for that with the distress signal? Maybe there's multiple different code combinations?
Maybe they give them automatic uses the codes.
Let's find out. That X did none of these things. Why? I'm not sure, but maybe they needed the bodies to be left in the morgue for some reason. You think so too? Yes. X clearly wanted to leave the bodies in here. But by doing so, it would allow us to find out the existence of the livor mortis codes. That is why they went through the trouble of setting up such a complicated red herring, removing the skin and hearts of those already dead. So the question is, why does X want the bodies preserved? That is what I'm trying to find out. Let's put that aside for now and talk about something else. Why does X want to know what the livor mortis codes are? That has to do with the distress signal transmitter. Yep. Transmitter, the boy the Undying Flame told us about. I recently found blah, 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 blah. A series of codes, that's what he said. Yep. Once the correct series of codes were entered in the transmitter, Oh, I know. The correct series of codes he mentioned. He must be referring to the Liver Mortis code. Yes, there are 10 people on Team 1. Entering 9 of our codes will summon the rescue craft. Oh, okay. So, it's just any 9 of 10. So, just any order of 9 of 10. And you unlock it. Because knowing Liver Mortis codes of 9 people indicates that 9 people have entered total death. Total death. It means a complete cessation of life. In this state, a person is impossible to revive. Okay, but how did you come across all this information? The same way I came across the previous information, by remembering it. Oh, the 3-day-long story you were talking about. Yes, I will explain further when time is more on our side. For now, our priority is to identify X. Do you understand now? Do you understand why I said X's objective is to find out the Liver Mortis code? Does this mean X is trying to summon the rescue craft? It is very likely. So that they can leave this school. Quite so. Which also means X also knows where the distress signal transmitter is located. Because the Liver Mortis codes would be useless otherwise. That is a logical line of reasoning. Keep going. If we find out the distress signal transmitter ourselves, we may find a clue on X's identity. Hideko nodded deeply at my words. That is why I'm going to start looking for the distress signal transmitter now. Care to join me? But it's almost midnight. What are you, 5? Oh, alright. Sleepy. Let me have some control so I can check the gallery, please. Hideko and I ran around the school all night in search of the distress signal transmitter. We found nothing in the end.
Damn.
It's almost 6. If we're not in our rooms for the morning announcement, the others may suspect us of being X. Yes, we should call it a day for now, and just as Hiruko's about to finish her sentence.
Huh?
Kurata. Shh, hide yourself. Oh. What in the world? You made the rule that we would never go anywhere alone, remember? So why is Kurata wandering around by herself then? Oh, now that you mention it. We peered out from around the corner of the hallway to see where Kurata was going. She quickly vanished in the direction of the staircase. The sound of the footsteps on the floor above us slowly became softer and softer until we heard the roof door closing. Then there was silence. Kurata went upstairs. I mean, we are on the ground floor, but she just came from that staircase. Why would she come down the stairs just to go up again? Maybe she didn't come down the stairs. Are you saying... We started investigating the area around the staircase, groping around the wall surface to see if we could find anything. And then...
What is this?
Okay, so this is something we're going to deal with next time, I guess.
Huh.
I can't find a good opportune stopping point here to fucking do what I want to do, so I'm just going to call the video here. Alright, everybody. As always, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the series and you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, follow me on Twitch, ArkNova3, and if you want to support the channel, check out the Patreon link in the description. For just $1 a month, you can help support me bringing the best content that I can.
Till then.